right now is definitely a time to be loading up. Just like Pantera did 11 years ago, and just like Sailor have been doing this last 4 years, including this year, and Metaplanet. Metaplanet is now following the same footsteps as MicroStrategy in a smaller way, but nevertheless still the same. They decided to purchase another 42 Bitcoin, and they purchased some, I believe, a couple weeks ago. They're continuing to put all their money into Bitcoin, and they're they're selling out convertible loans to also buy more Bitcoin, right? Because once you truly understand, most people think they understand, but they really don't. But once you really understand that Bitcoin is the best asset out there, there is nothing better. There is no, according to Sailor, there is no second best. If you truly understand that, you have no fear. And you know that one Bitcoin is one Bitcoin, no matter what the price is. Okay? People that truly understand will continue to hold on DCA forever. And they will just keep on accumulating more and more and more. And according to this chart, it is definitely the best asset to hold forever. Okay? It's just something that just keep on appreciating over time. Now, short term, yes, it's kind of scary, right? We got major sellouts happening. But if you're looking at some of the charts, okay, it does seem like the bottom could be in. Could be, but we'll see. Here's one that's just a very simple pattern comparing us to earlier this year when Bitcoin was still around $30,000, $40,000 before we made a major climb upwards, right? Does look very similar. But take a look at this. This is what it looks like now versus gold. So gold went through something like that before, where gold had kind of like a double top, and then it climbed below a certain point, right? In fact, a certain point is the 200 EMA. And then what happened with gold? Then it climbed back up and went much, much higher. So even if you're looking at Bitcoin versus gold, it's very similar in pattern and movement. And not even just with gold. If you look at with Apple too, it's almost the same thing. Apple also went through the same period where in 2023 and leading into 2024, you see it kind of makes a double top, and then it goes down, right? And then it goes forward. Actually, that's not, Apple's not 2024. That was before. I don't know the time frame of that, but that's showing what Bitcoin is going through now versus Apple before too, right? So we have seen many, many, many other assets and Bitcoin itself do the same thing over and over and over and over, but what's the commonality? Afterwards, Bitcoin breaks down, continues upwards, just like all these other assets. It's the same thing. Again, it's just a matter of having patience and getting through the scary time now, right? There are always scary times, every single cycle. And here's the last thing I'll say about Bitcoin again. When in doubt, zoom out, look at these previous tops for Bitcoin, look at the previous bottoms for Bitcoin. It looks pretty similar, especially the cycle. If you look at from the 2014 to 2017 before it started going upwards, if you look at that, it's very, very similar, right? Again, many similarities, many fractal patterns that show that Bitcoin has gone through previous downturns, previous sell-offs, despite the macro conditions being some sort of different, and despite external factors may be different, but nevertheless, Bitcoin continues forward and onwards and higher, right? Every single time. So stay strong. That's what you got to do. Stay strong and have patience. That's really it. If you want to comment on anything I've said in this video, make sure you head over to the Roundtable. The Roundtable is a new social media platform created for conversations. And best of all, it's spam-free, bot-free, unlike here on YouTube. And you could have conversations with me and others like Altcoin Daily, Scott Melker, Mauro Nafal, and many others are joining daily. And you also get rewarded in tokens for doing so. So check out the new Roundtable. Click the link in the description below. I couldn't help but notice this headline right here. Okay, this Boeing one has nothing to do with crypto, but I just find this. I don't know. I don't know how to react to this. Basically, as a company now, Boeing, they're pleading guilty to fraud charge. So this is actually a company that is now that has committed fraud, but no one's going to jail. And they're simply paying a $243 million fine. They're going to be installing a third-party monitor to make sure that they're keeping track of compliance, but that's it. But how does a company itself plead to fraud, but then the CEO or any of the top guys don't actually go to jail? That makes no sense to me whatsoever. It's just a really weird thing, and that's because Boeing basically was caught hiding data that showed that they have defective planes. That's what spurred, and we had Alaska Airlines have one of their doors blow out or something recently, right? But again, I don't get how a company could be charged with fraud, yet it still exists, still operates, continues to sell planes, and no one goes to jail. How does that work? I don't know. I'm just making a quick comment about that. We do have a big inflation data that's coming out this Thursday, right? We've been getting a lot of economic data in the U.S., and they're all pointing that the economy is going lower. So, not a good thing, right? But here's the thing. It can be good for markets because we're looking for our very first rate cut, okay? And if inflation numbers continue to show that inflation is dropping, that's a very good thing. So we do have an FOMC meeting at the end of this month. We still have a couple weeks to go. You can see right there, 6.7% prediction that we will get our very first cut since like 2020 or something. It's been a long time. Now, that percent was at 0, okay? Now, it's at 6.7%. So as you can see, it's been ticking upwards. In September, it's predicted that there's a 72.5% chance that we're going to get a rate cut in September. So almost everyone thinks that it's going to come in September, but not July. But here's the thing. Because of the bad economic data, and if inflation continues to go down, right, even though the numbers may be fudged, nevertheless, if it goes down and we see all these other economic data continues to go down too, that 6.7% could easily turn into 20, 25, 30%. And if we get that very first rate cut in July rather than September, that's definitely going to be a catalyst to drive things higher much, much quicker than expected.